Hi everybody, Mark here. Firstly, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's donated to the campaign so far. This truly is a passion project, something I've been dreaming of doing for quite a while. So it's really great to see it all kind of coming together, and very excited that it's all happening. But couldn't do it without you. So thank you to the donations that we've received so far, and to those who've given them to us. Much appreciated. Um, Well, today I thought I would give a little background on myself, kind of give you a little understanding of who I am, where I've come from, and what I'm doing now. Um, so why don't we dive in? In 1973, I was born in Singapore, in Southeast Asia. My parents had met each other in Southeast Asia, and they were living there at the time. I then spent the next 12 years of my life growing up in Hong Kong, which was an amazing experience. In 1985, we moved to the United Kingdom, and we spent 5 years living in England until we were given the opportunity to move to the United States. So when I was 17, we moved to the United States in 1991, did a couple of years in high school, and then went on to college. Bounced around a little bit, not really knowing what I wanted to do, until eventually in 2001, I graduated from the School of Visual Arts in New York City. I then ended up living in New York City for the next 10 years, which was also an amazing experience until I kind of had my fill of the city life. Um, Decided to leave. I went to Italy for a little bit, spent some time there trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then ultimately came back to the United States, and then began working in hospitality, thinking that that might be a good fit for me. Um, it was at that time that I met my wife, Carmela. We got married, and I was still working in hospitality. Then we had our first child, Lily, which was a true blessing. And all this time, while I was working in hotel management in a big five-star hotel in New York City, and it just started to get to a point where I just really wasn't enjoying it anymore. I couldn't see myself doing that, until I was in my 50s or until I retired. So I decided that I was done with it. And something that I'd always wanted to do was join the military. As a little kid, I always envisioned myself being a soldier, and I don't know, the shine was just really there for me. So at 35, I joined the U.S. Army in the middle of the global war on terror. I spent the next 4 years serving with the 10th Cavalry in Fort Carson, Colorado as a combat medic. And it actually ended up being a really great experience. I met some really amazing people. I spent some time in the Middle East, but ultimately wasn't something that was really easy for my family. So we decided that it was time for me to leave the Army and move back to the East Coast. So in 2014, my wife and my two children moved back to the East Coast, and ended up in Virginia, where we spent about 4 years living there. Ultimately, we decided right in the middle of the pandemic that we wanted to move up to Pennsylvania by Philadelphia to be closer to family. And that's where I am now, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We've been living here for about 3 years now, and so far so good. Um, Backtracking a little bit, how I stumbled across meditation was in 2015, right before the pandemic hit. I began to listen to the talks of Alan Watts. I had stumbled across him, and I was totally enthralled with the topics that he was talking about, his ideas about the philosophy of life, some of his metaphysical talks, but all super interesting and really opened my eyes up to a completely different way of thinking about life and our place in it, and just slowly became a real interest of mine. I started to read different books, and then in the pandemic, I was laid off from my work. My first thought was panic, panic, what are we going to do? And I was lucky that I had stumbled across a web application by Sam Harris. It was a meditation app that he had created, and essentially was an app that taught people how to meditate. And I had the time, and so I decided, you know what, I'm going to learn how to meditate. And so I began this journey of meditation. Um, and it really opened my eyes. I mean, what I got out of meditation in the early days was a true sense of freedom and a way to deal with some of the complexities of life at that moment. And I just kind of dedicated myself to it. Began a formal practice. I was practicing every single day for half an hour a day, just trying to soak up all the literature I could get my hands on. You know, listening to podcasts, listening to different meditation teachers talk about meditation, and really just became fully engrossed in the whole topic. We ultimately moved up to Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia, and that's where I am now in Bucks County. Um, and yeah, my meditation practice sort of followed me along. By no means was it an easy move. There were a lot of challenges in this move, and so it got a little tricky, kind of keeping up with meditation and still sort of seeing the path ahead of me. But ultimately, I was blessed because I was able to find my way back to a truly formal practice. I practice now twice a day, every day. So at this point, I have a few thousand hours of meditation under my belt, and I've been practicing now for about a decade. So it's been a really eye-opening, profound experience for me. Um, more recently, I I started to realize that what I would like to do with the rest of my life was to share mindfulness and meditation practices with people who are suffering in their lives. I know from my own personal story that I have gone through my own suffering, a lot of it, and at times it wasn't easy. But the one thing that's really helped me and kept me grounded is a formal meditation practice. And I don't think a lot of people, especially in the United States, have access to meditation in a way that is easy for them to engage with or find the right teacher or even find a place where they can do it. Um, I know for me, if I type into Google meditation center, nothing shows up for at least a 50-mile radius. And that's kind of too bad. And I started to realize that, you know what, I want to open up a meditation studio and I want to help people to find mindfulness and meditation and to change their lives because of the practice. It is a scientifically proven practice that has been going on for thousands of years and truly, truly transforms people's lives every single day. And for me, I just wanted the opportunity to pay that forward, of which has been given to me. Um, so here I am today, starting a mindfulness center and an additional e-commerce store that will kind of help us support the mindfulness center. And I'm super excited to start this new chapter of my life. Obviously, there are a lot of risks, and this is why I'm running this campaign so that I can, uh, hopefully generate enough money that we can make this thing lasting. My hope is that we'll be able to get people to come in who are looking for something deeper in their lives, looking for a way to relieve their suffering and find what truly matters in their lives. And I'm by no means a Zen master or some kind of, guru. I'm just somebody who's gone through it, just like everybody else, and just like many of you listening to this right now. And I would very much like to teach what I've learned so far so that other people can incorporate it into their lives and hopefully find the peace and ease that I have found in a formal practice of meditation. So the Satori Style Company is in the works right now. We're putting it all together and it will open. But I hope that you'll consider donating some money to the campaign so that we can sustain our operations. And if you can't do that, please think about just sharing our Indiegogo campaign with your network of people so that we can kind of keep the momentum going. But it's a real pleasure and an honor for me to speak to you guys today. And I appreciate you sitting here and listening to my story. And hopefully one day we'll get the opportunity to meet and practice together. So thank you so much.